For the candidate that we desire to have, well, not just president, but for president, for Senate, not in Indiana, but for Senate in most states, many states, for governor, for everything up and down the ballot. And those ballots, those offices down the ballot matter tremendously, as well. As we spoke with Daniel Elliott of my local Republican Party yesterday. And nothing wrong with looking at a straight Republican ticket here in 2020. I mean, we're at a point in time where the ideology of the left has infiltrated all levels of government, folks. This party has been taken over by the leftists. And I tell you this, if they don't win this election, if Biden doesn't win, if they don't win the Senate, if somehow Republicans win the House as well, which again, statistically is not very likely. But if that is the case, prepare for the party to have another fight over, who controls it. Will the moderates, will the Blue Dog Democrats make a resurgence, or will this become a modern day straight up socialist party for the foreseeable future? So lots of things hanging in the balance today. Welcome to the program. I am your host, Todd Huff. Email todd@toddhuffshow.com. Facebook, where we're streaming the program, at least as long as they permit us to. So far, so good. Here this morning, also on YouTube, Twitter as well. And, of course, you can catch us, the video stream of the program, live on our website as well, toddhuffshow.com. You may notice I was at one of our advertisers the other day, Freegie gave me a new hat. Asked me if I'd wear it on the show. I said, you know what, I think I will. And I don't know that you can wear it any better than I have it on this morning. I'm just teasing. But anyway, folks, it's a big, very important day here in 2020. These are monumental times. As a geek of sorts who's followed this stuff for many, many years, of course, I studied this stuff at Butler University, political science. I imagine, like most of you as well, days like today make me both proud and just very thankful that I'm an American, that we have this ability to go out and to cast our ballot. Look, there are certainly problems. I don't want to gloss over them because some of these problems are legitimately big and problematic and concerning, and they must be addressed. We are in a fight for the survival of our constitutional republic, and it is not being attacked and assaulted by the president. It's being attacked and assaulted by another political party that's been taken over by radical, anti-constitutional, anti-free enterprise, anti-capitalist, anti-American in many cases, radical leftists, socialists, and the like. Heck, some communists are tossed in there today. It's becoming more and more in vogue for these folks to say such things, for these folks to claim more radical ideas. Things that were not part of the mainstream in the Democrat Party even 4 years ago are now in the mainstream. This is a radical party. Kamala Harris, who apparently says her name differently than they tell the rest of us we must say it. Kamala Harris, has been declared to be the most liberal senator in the U.S. Senate. And that wasn't just Pence who made that up on the spot. This is a real thing, a real threat, a real problem. And that is what is on this ballot today. And I've gotten messages already this morning. It's fascinating to me. A lot of folks voted early. I voted early. I think I voted last Tuesday. A lot of folks did vote early. Some states have already eclipsed their Texas, for example, eclipsed their total vote in 2016 with the early vote alone. I've had people texting me this morning. One friend texted me about a half an hour, about 40 minutes ago now, saying that there were about 150 people in front of him already, and that was 30 minutes before the polls were to open. Another friend texted and said that the line was wrapped virtually around the building and almost back to the road. So again, expect that today. Expect that today. A lot of this is the day that Republicans traditionally, well, it's the day traditionally everybody voted, but this is really the day that the Republican vote has the biggest impact. And that's why, and I've got another friend who looks at these projections and he looks at the numbers and he analyzes it. A smart dude. I don't get into this, and I'll tell you why. I mean, I'll glance at it. I pay a little bit of attention. I recognize that the polls they have some purpose, but the problem is we just don't have any idea. There's assumptions, there's models, there's people making projections and predictions based upon turnout, how many people are going to be doing what, how many people are going to be voting on Election Day, how many of those people statistically are going to vote for the Republican candidate if they're Republican, how many are going to vote for the Democrat candidate if they are a Democrat. On and on this goes. On and on this goes. I don't get into that. I just, again, I follow the narrative. I'm more interested in talking about why we should make the decision instead of predicting what decision people are going to make. I think it's in some degree, to some extent, a crapshoot. That being said, I think that there are plenty of reasons to be optimistic about a President Trump victory today. We're far from the point of being able to say that it's a guarantee. We're far from the point of saying it's an actual prediction. We're far from the point of saying that Biden can't win. However, all those things being taken into account, I think it's this, again, I believe that I would rather be Team Trump today than Team Biden as I look at this map because I think that a lot of these things that they're crossing their fingers on are simply not going to happen. I do not believe that Texas is going to go blue. I do not believe that Georgia is going to go blue. I do not believe that Florida is going to go blue. I do not believe North Carolina is going to go blue. That could be the case. I think out of all those states, North Carolina is perhaps the most likely or possible to go blue. I think Florida looks, again, based upon what we're seeing, and more pollsters are saying this, they're still clearly in the minority. But it's not just the Cahaley group, or the Trafalgar group and Robert Cahaley. It is, there's multiple folks echoing these same sentiments. Trump last night in Michigan, just again, to me, the proof is, where are these folks actually out there doing their work on the eve of the election? Biden was in Ohio for a little bit, but I think that was more of a symbolic gesture than anything. He was in Cleveland. But they've been spending most of their time in Pennsylvania. Trump has spent a lot of time in Pennsylvania. Trump has spent a lot of time in Wisconsin. Trump has spent a lot of time in Michigan. Trump has spent some time in Minnesota and Iowa. Folks, these are the states. He's been in North Carolina and Florida as well. But these are the states to pay attention to. These are the states to pay close attention to. And by the way, we will be paying close attention to these states tonight. We're going to be doing a special election night coverage of the returns. On our program. Special election night coverage is going to start tonight at 9 p.m. on Freedom 95. And we'll also be streaming on multiple platforms as well. Facebook, YouTube. Again, as long as they let us do this, who knows? They're getting censor happy here as we get close to the election. So just make sure, if you want to tune in, which of course you should, you make sure that you tune in. If you're having trouble finding us on Facebook or one of those social platforms, that you can always go to our website, or it's just toddhuffshow.com, or you can tune in on Freedom 95, 95.9 FM, 950 AM in Central Indiana, as well, or you can find the Freedom 95 app on TuneIn, which is free to listen to. I believe it's a free service. You can check it out there as well. That's anywhere around the world. And we'll be looking at returns. We'll be talking about what it means. We'll be analyzing some things and really just talking about this as it happens in real time. And I'm excited. I am excited. I'm cautiously optimistic, and I do believe that this is. I feel good about this in many ways, and I hesitate because, again, there's no way to predict how some people are going to vote, but I really do feel better today than I did 4 years ago, 2016. In 2016, I felt like Trump was going to win, but in my head, I couldn't figure out exactly how. Today, I feel like Trump is going to win this thing. And in my head, I can see the path to how he can do that. I can also see where he can't do that, where Biden gets a victory, where he kind of runs a straight across the Rust Belt, winning Pennsylvania, Michigan, Wisconsin, Minnesota, maybe picking up something like North Carolina. I know there's concerns about Arizona as well. But folks, there is so much to talk about. We've got the civil unrest portion of this. I have a friend who lives in downtown in Indianapolis. And, there's legitimate questions. What's going to happen downtown? What's going to happen if Trump wins? I think a friend told me that there's already buildings being boarded up downtown. I had not seen that here in Indy yet. I've seen that in New York City and Washington, D.C., and Seattle and Portland. Of course, many of those places probably never became unboarded after the riots earlier this summer, which amazingly do not cause any COVID spread. It's a remarkable thing. But if you look at what's happening around these cities, people are preparing. In fact, I saw one group that was putting up plywood on their windows. This was not in Indy, somewhere else. And they were on the plywood had painted, "We support BLM." So we know who's organizing these riots. We know who the shop owners, the businesses are preparing to see come into their communities. It's not the Tea Party. It's not this mythical group of rogue white supremacists running around cities. It is Black Lives Matter or people who are, hijacking that particular movement or whatever. It's not. It's Antifa. It's the left. It's not Trump supporters, which reminds me of the incident that Team Biden had in Texas. Again, I don't know if you saw that. There's a video of this. Team Biden, one of the I don't know if it's one of the people on his campaign or what have you, said that they were the bus was surrounded by Trump parade, basically Trump trucks and flags. I think you probably have seen this. If you haven't, that's what happened. Is they were somewhere in Texas, and Biden's team had to cancel other events because this was so scary for them. One of the vehicles with the Biden bus, a Biden supporter bus, says that a Trump truck ran him off the road. Except the problem is there's a video there. And the video shows that the Trump truck was getting pushed out of its lane and was actually the contact was made, was fighting for position to keep from getting run off the road itself. It's clearly not what was being told to us at first. But get ready for more stories like this. Get ready for more angst and anxiety and tension in the cities. Get ready. God forbid. Folks, if Trump wins this, you can take it to the bank that there will be unrest. There will be violence. There will be looting. There will be all sorts of things. And, of course, these liberal governors and mayors will do next to nothing to stop it yet again. You can almost take these things firmly to the bank. It doesn't matter what percentage Trump gets. In fact, they've created a scenario now in these polls to where they've convinced many liberals, many radicals, many members of Antifa, many folks that would be taking up the banner of violence in these cities. They've convinced them that the only way Trump can win is if he steals the election again. And after investing 4 years now in this stupid Russia-Trump collusion scandal, spit it out there, Todd. After spending 4 years talking about that, they have built this almost expectation that, that's what's going to happen again. Meanwhile, who's the ones Who's the ones that are engaged in all sorts of things being exposed by Project Veritas? And I mean, the list goes on and on here as to what we're looking at. But there are a lot of scenarios, a lot of fallout that is scheduled, that, well, maybe literally scheduled by some of these groups to take place should Trump win this thing, as I think he's positioned to do, at least have a darn good shot at doing tonight, and I hope to be able to report that later tonight. But we don't know. Some of these ballots are going to come in for days, and as I've said from the beginning, you can mark these words, you can etch them in stone. The Democrats will know that this election is over and that all the votes have been counted the very second that Biden gets one more vote than Trump. That's when we'll know. That's when they will know that this is over. Until then, if it's close, they will keep counting and recounting and finding ballots probably stuffed in trunks of cars, probably in classrooms, probably on the side of the street. Heck, you might want to check your closet at home. Only if you're a Democrat, probably. They won't allow a Republican to do such a thing, but be ready for this. Be ready for lawsuits, fights over deadlines, fights over which sorts of ballots should count. Ballots coming in days and weeks later. In some cases, expect a legal battle if these states are close. Michigan, for example, Wisconsin, Pennsylvania, North Carolina, maybe other states as well. So much to talk about, so little time. In fact, it's time for us to take our first time out here. So we'll do that, and when we get back, continue our discussion here. I've also got an interview I want to play with you, share with you about the importance of healthcare. You know, there's a lot of legitimate issues in this election that are candidly not being able to even get a second of airtime because of all the craziness we're seeing out there, all of the rallies, all of the lawsuits, all of the projections. Everyone's enamored with who's going to win all these states and so forth. But there's other legitimate issues, and one of those is healthcare. I mean, we've got a party whose candidates who want to take this nation further and further left, give more and more control of the government to our system, to our healthcare system, and we're going to share a conversation as to why that's not a good idea and what are some things that we can do as a country to embrace the concepts of free enterprise in our healthcare system as well. So lots and lots to get to. Quick timeout is in order, though. You're listening here to the home of conservative, not bitter talk. I am your host, Todd Huff. Back here in just a minute.
Listen to Todd's show on your way to work, but want to hear more? Don't miss a beat. Visit toddhuffshow.com/listen to catch the program anytime, anywhere.
All right, here we go. $100 down, $200 back up, $300.
I went to my first firearms auction a few years ago. It was hosted by TJ Freegee, one of my good friends from high school, who is a champion auctioneer and one of the best in the business. In spite of objections from liberal legislators, I walked away with a .22 rifle and a few boxes of ammunition. And I had a great afternoon with my grandpa that I won't soon forget. If you've ever wondered what treasure you could find in an auction, visit FreegeeAuctioneers.com and take a look at their upcoming Central Indiana auction schedule. That's Freegee, Freije, auctioneers.com. Visit FreegeeAuctioneers.com.
Hi, I'm TJ Freegee, owner and lead auctioneer at Freegee & Freegee Auctions and Marketing. I invite you to come see the power of live auctions. It's fast, it's fun, it's transparent, and it's the absolute best way to ensure you get fair market value for your asset today. Get results, go auction.
Corin Homes is expanding their 55-plus community. Briar Creek is the only senior manufactured home community in Indianapolis featuring Indiana-built homes. Floor plans and finishes starting at $75,000. Enjoy affordable, low-maintenance lifestyle with the charm of a residential neighborhood. Located minutes from I-465 in Fort Harrison State Park. Corin Homes, family-owned and operated since 1955. Check us out at COHRONhomes.com. Mention the Todd Huff Show and receive a $1,000 discount on your new home.
Why would you call a company called Commercial Service for your home heating, cooling, and plumbing? Same question I had, because they have provided over 70 years of quality service and Trane products for both homes and businesses in Central Indiana. It's hard to stop Commercial Service, and it's hard to stop a Trane. Give them a call. I'm glad I did.
Call Commercial Service at 812-339-9114 or online at commercialservice.com. Commercial Service, commercial grade service for your home.
If you own a rental property, you know the hassles of marketing, renting, collecting, and the handling of maintenance and repairs. One call to Zuluscape can put an end to your property management headaches. Zuluscape has over 20 years of experience helping landlords throughout Central Indiana and taking the stress out of owning a rental. From A to Z, let Zuluscape handle it all so you can enjoy owning a rental instead of hating being a landlord. Give us a call at 317-663-8485 or visit our website at Zuluscape.com.
Would you like to save 20% or more on your insurance? Let AIA and Avon do a free comparison for you. As an independent agent, we can find savings that fit your needs and budget. We work for you, not the insurance companies. Whether your insurance need is big or small, give AIA a call, 317-718-1747, or find out what we can do for you at AIA4lowrates.com.
Did you know that there are 21,000 chimney fires annually? It's one of the reasons why it's so important to have a CSIA certified chimney technician clean and inspect your chimney every year. Keep your family safe by joining our 3-year sweep and inspection plan. And mention Todd to be entered to win $1,000 in cash. Contact Smalling Masonry, a Christian-owned business, at 317-903-8121 to learn more today.
The printing industry has changed a lot since we opened for business in 1931, but what our clients expect from us really hasn't changed. Quality print, fast turnaround, and competitive prices. We've learned a lot at Moeller Printing over 86 years and 3 generations. Why not put that experience to work for you? Call 317-353-2224 and mention discount code RADIO to receive 10% off your first order. Call Moeller Printing at 317-353-2224.
Welcome back. I know that there are some folks out there that are still last-minute deciders here in this election, which I appreciate the thoughtfulness. I don't understand how someone can truly be undecided at this particular phase in the election. Folks, we have 2 diametrically opposed ideologies on the ballot. I've said this before, and I'll tell you why I cast my vote proudly for President Donald J. Trump and his campaign to give him 4 more years as our president. There are many, many reasons. Number one, I don't even know the order, but let's just say the first reason I think about the role of government. And part of the role of government is to eliminate the bureaucratic state and take power back away from Washington, D.C., and return it to the states and to the people. President Trump is doing that. Part of recalibrating, if you will, our government is getting Supreme Court justices on that court who interpret the law, who do not legislate. You see, our founders were brilliant insofar as, well, lots of reasons, but one of the reasons is the way that they created this system of checks and balances. There is a legislature, a bicameral legislature that has the House and the Senate. So there's that was set up. I don't want to go into all of that about representation and each state getting 2 senators, but also getting representatives based on the population. But there's 2 houses of government in the legislature. They must pass identical legislation with the majority approval and get that to the president for his or her signature. And the legislature makes laws. The president, by and large, enforces laws and does, manages foreign relations, is our leader, is our commander in chief. And then we've got the judicial branch, which is supposed to interpret the laws. President Trump is helping our Supreme Court, helping our judiciary return to such a branch of government. President Trump believes in cutting taxes. That is important. What you earn belongs first and foremost to you. You should not get what the state or what the federal government tells you you can have after you fund all of the wacky and out-of-control programs and ideas and utopian promises that they give you. I am 100% on board with tax cuts. And again, that is one way to return power to the people. President Trump is right on the issues of guns and the Second Amendment. The right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed by our federal government. President Trump is correct in that. He is a very pro-gun president, pro-legal, pro-gun freedom. This doesn't mean people want to say that, oh, he's in favor of gun violence and silly stuff like that. No, that's not what this is about at all. This is about the right of the people given by their creator to protect themselves from any threat up to and including their government. President Trump is strong on the Second Amendment. He's very strong on the First Amendment. You see states and governors around this country like Gavin Newsom in California telling people they can't go to church. It's remarkable. You can't go to church. You can't sing at church. That might spread the virus, but you can go to the Walmart and the Chuck E. Cheese and all these other things. Maybe not Chuck E. Cheese out there, but President Trump is free, pro-freedom of religion, pro-First Amendment. It's ironic. President Trump's actually very pro-First Amendment. They've maligned him to say he's against the freedom of the press, when all that really means is the press can't put on their big boy and big girl pants and fight back when the president criticizes them. President Trump, there's lots of reasons, folks. Those are just the ones at the top, and I've got to take a break because I want to make sure that I get to this interview. I want, healthcare is on the ballot as well, but this is a contrast of ideologies. Dramatic contrast. One that says we're going to go towards liberty, freedom, the founding of this country, the Constitution, the Declaration, the individual. You're a citizen, not a subject. You get to keep and bear arms. A pro-life president. That's in one category. The other category is the great statists. The statists who believe that government has the answer to all of your problems, and your job is to comply. You are, in fact, a subject. That's the way they look at you, a subject, a cog in the wheel. You're just one of many for the cause of the great socialistic cause. And if only conservatives and limited government types would get out of the way, they would probably cure every problem, every ill on planet Earth if just given enough time, money, opportunity, and no opposition from those crazy conservatives. The socialists, the communists, this is where they congregate. They are takers. They believe that what you produce is not yours. In fact, it belongs to somebody else. And they will, in fact, tell you who it belongs to. They will tell you the best form of health care. They will tell you how much you should make. They will tell you what's equitable. They will tell you that if government can only intervene here and there, everything would just be perfectly harmonious in our society. They're not pro-Second Amendment. They're not pro-First Amendment. In fact, these are the folks that are silencing conservatives on platforms like Facebook. They don't want to hear opposing ideas because that is not what government allows for. This is what's on the ballot, folks. And I got to take a break. Got to take a break along in this segment. You're listening here to the home of conservative, not bitter talk. I am your host, Todd Huff. Back here in just a minute.
Is it possible to be a fan of the show if you don't have the gear to prove it? Why not be safe and remove all doubt? Shop for official merchandise at toddhuffshow.com/shop today.
As a listener of this program, I have no doubt that you embrace the value of hard work, honesty, and integrity. And when you have the opportunity to work with a company that fully embraces and shares these values, I'm sure you jump at it. Economy Heating, Air Conditioning, and Plumbing is just that type of company in Central Indiana. Jeff and Jod Woods have a team of professional technicians here to help tune up your furnace or install a quality new train system. And they're also here to fix those nasty plumbing problems that seem to happen at the absolute worst time. So the next time you have a plumbing, heating, or cooling need, give the good folks at Economy Heating, Air Conditioning, and Plumbing a call. Call 317-831-5279. That's 317-831-5279. Or visit economyheatingandair.com.
Hi, I'm Daniel Elliott, Chairman of the Morgan County Republican Party. I'm excited that Hoosier Republicans and conservatives are eager to re-elect President Trump. But as you know, this ideological battle we're fighting runs all the way up and down the ballot. That's why I'm asking you to vote Republican from the very top of your ballot all the way down to the bottom of your ballot. Every election is important, and we must win as many of these elections as possible to ensure that we defend our liberties through constitutional limited government. If you love liberty and the Constitution, I'm asking you to join conservatives all across the Hoosier State and vote Republican all the way down the ballot. This ad is paid for by the Morgan County Republican Party.
Seems like just yesterday that you couldn't find a quiet place to think in your home. Now all the kids have flown the nest and you find yourself wondering what to do with all of that extra space. This is Bruce of Bruce Richardson Realty. My team and I understand that life changes, and so do your home needs. So whether you're downsizing or upsizing, give us a call at 317-507-3285. Let us help you find the best fit for your residential or your commercial property needs. 317-507-3285.
Our word can't be diluted because we are taught that a promise is a commitment in which you always follow through. No ifs, ands, or buts. So every time you walk through Greg Hubler Chevrolet doors, you can count on the advice and expertise we provide you. Because when we make a promise, we keep it. Greg Hubler Chevrolet. Promise kept. Visit GregHublerChevy.com. Find new roads.
Business leaders, are your employees satisfied with their jobs? Do they enjoy coming to work and feel valued? Workforce Chaplains can help. Locally owned, we work with organizations to provide holistic care to their employees. I'm Marcus Schrader, President of Workforce Chaplains, and we offer your team a 24/7 support system that positively affects your company's culture and productivity. With our personalized pricing and diverse support system, we handle the issues that you wish you had time for. To learn more, visit us at workforcechaplains.com.
Does your business have a plan for social media marketing? Are you reaching the right audiences through Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, LinkedIn, and the list goes on? Are you learning from the data? Jarbo can help. Our team doesn't just come in and tell you how to be successful. We help you execute and measure your sales and marketing efforts. Give us a call at 317-834-6560 or visit us online at jarbomarketing.com. That's jarbomarketing.com. Make social media work for you.
Have you seen the price of custom cabinetry and countertops lately? If you're looking for quality, affordable remodels, call Carriage House Woodworking. Our helpful professionals will walk you through every step of the process. We're offering a free sink base with qualifying purchases. Just enter CHWEINC.com/Todd or call 317-406-3042. Call Carriage House Woodworking. You won't have to spend your kids' inheritance just to upgrade your kitchen.
Welcome back really quickly here. Very, very short segment. Number one, I want to congratulate Jim. Jim was our winner. For the, what do I want to say, to be our guest tonight at the Freedom 95 studios. So I'm looking forward to meet Jim and during election night coverage. Thank you. Thank you, Jim, and we just, again, look forward to meeting you. And, again, this was to coincide with our CNBU early enrollment kickoff program to get our conservative, not bitter university up to date. You can find more information will come as we plan to launch that. That'll launch in December. First courses. Number one. Number two, folks, if you haven't voted, I know there could be long lines today, but just get out. Just get out and vote. This is going to come down to turnout. This is the day that conservatives and Republicans around the nation typically flock to the polls. This is a beautiful thing, and this needs to be, we need to take care of this. We need to get this President Trump reelected. We need to get Republicans up and down ballot. We need to consider Donald Rainwater for Libertarian and for governor here in the state of Indiana. He's the lone exception, at least on my ballot, that I think I hope those of you listening to my voice will at least consider him. But folks, this is an important day, big day, and we'll be on tonight from 9, starting at 9 on Freedom 95. So check us out. Quick time out, come back and share a bit of an interview. You're listening to my Election Day coverage here on the Todd Huff Show. Be back in just a minute.
Looking to make a conservative, not bitter fashion statement? Check out our apparel online, including brand new items at toddhuffshow.com/shop today.
Need to refresh or renovate your commercial space? Call Interior Construction Services today, providing the highest level of quality construction at a competitive price. Our service-minded team is here to deliver the detail-oriented environment you're looking to create, on time and on budget. Call us at 317-991-4660 or visit us online at interiorconstruct.com. Interior Construction Services. Progressive, productive, professional.
We all know having health insurance doesn't always equal health care. That's why at Freedom HealthWorks, we believe the key to maintaining good health is based on a straightforward, personal relationship with your physician. With our direct doctor-patient relationship model, we remove your healthcare middleman and replace him with transparent pricing and incentive to call your doctor at the first sign of illness. So if you're ready to experience real care from a doctor that really cares about you, go to freedomhealthworks.com and learn more about the benefits of our direct primary care model. Freedom HealthWorks. Be treated better.
Are you one of the growing number of Hoosiers who are concerned about higher taxes, increased spending, and massive debt? So am I. I'm Donald Rainwater, the Libertarian candidate for governor of the state of Indiana. I believe that all Hoosier businesses provide the necessities of life to their owners and employees, and that all Hoosiers are essential. As your governor, I will safeguard your rights to life, liberty, property, and the pursuit of happiness as defined by you, not the government. To learn more, go to rainwaterforindiana.com. We need better government, not bigger government. My name's Donald Rainwater, and I approve this message. Paid for by Rainwater for Indiana.
Folks, I'm going to share this interview with you, Chris Habig of Freedom HealthWorks. And healthcare is on the ballot too, so enjoy this conversation. I got to squeeze this in, folks. Here we go. Well, I know it's hard to everything that's becoming a focal point of this election, all the issues and arguments and debates and emails and all sorts of stuff. But healthcare is important in this upcoming election. And so I'm happy to have with us today Chris Habig. He is the CEO and founder of Freedom HealthWorks. Chris, thank you for joining the program. How are you today?
I'm doing very well, Todd. Always a pleasure to chat.
Well, I appreciate you taking the time. And healthcare is an important part of this election, even though we don't necessarily see that in the debates and ads and so forth. You may see here and there some things, but there's so many other things vying for our attention. How important is healthcare in this election?
I think it's very important. It's something that affects us every single day. And I just want to be clear on terminology that a lot of the debate at the federal level focuses on that term healthcare. And I want to draw a stark contrast to what they're actually talking about. Dating back 10, 12 years to the ACA and Obamacare, all they were talking about is health insurance reform and how to pay for access to an already bloated system. And so I just really always tell people that healthcare, health insurance and health coverage does not equal medical care. And so, I really wish people would focus on medical care and how the interaction between a patient and a physician plays out in everyday life. And I just don't think we're talking about the right type of things, because too many people are confusing health insurance with a good personal relationship with a physician that they're able to build trust with and build a relationship with. And that gets caught up in the pandemic. And I think that a lot of people were just left on the sidelines. And the worst thing they could do is go to Google or ask, WebMD what symptoms are, and then look at a lot of the tabloid medicine and a lot of the headlines that are coming out that are really scare tactics. And I think it froze people for a good couple of months there during the pandemic. And then to see both, the president and the Democratic nominee, just kind of gloss over this stuff and pointing fingers. I mean, it doesn't do anybody any good whatsoever.
Yeah, the pandemic has certainly illuminated some even more problems than we already had or didn't realize that we had. So you touch on something that I was going to ask you about specifically, health care and health insurance. I guess talk a little bit more about those differences, the difference between actually getting quality health care, having access to that health care, having experts that you can talk with and actually deal with directly versus the paying side. Who's going to pay for this, the red tape, the bureaucracy, and all that sort of stuff. Maybe talk a little bit more in detail about that for us.
Yeah, absolutely. In my opinion, I think health insurance and health coverage is one of the most discriminatory practices that we have in existence in the United States. That really hits the headlines again with a lot of the social unrest that's happening in the summer. But then you look at healthcare as something that everybody needs. And so when you have health insurance plans, or if it's Medicare or Medicaid, and you are limiting people's choices from a free market standpoint and saying, oh, you need to go see these doctors and you can't go see these doctors, it's really head scratching when you break it down to a very simple engagement like that. There's no reason why somebody couldn't or isn't able to seek care from any physician that they want to and be able to pay them either, the old school kind of barter way or in a very clear, transparent price. So much of that has been muddied based on just the pure domination and really the oligarchy type of a payment system that we have set up where, the government already pays for about 60% or more of any type of medical bill, and then the big four insurance companies pay for the rest of it. So it's already inching towards monopoly. And Todd, as sure as all the listeners understand, that the only person who wins in a monopoly is a monopolist. Everybody else loses, and we're losing right now as healthcare consumers and patients.
Yeah, and you touch on some. I guess I'll ask a couple of some issues in healthcare that I see. Again, you're the expert, but how big of an issue is, say, transparency in the healthcare system?
It's a big issue. There's a reason why large hospital systems and large insurers are suing the federal government to prevent new guidelines coming out where they say that you have to publish your prices. That should be a big tip of the hat right there, that they don't want transparency. They claim that there are trade secrets and secret negotiations happening. And again, we as individuals and we as patients lose when a lot of that free market principles and the competition die in the darkness.
You're absolutely right. In fact, you remind me, in speaking with you, several years ago when my son was younger, we took him for a pediatrician checkup, and we were in the process of changing insurance companies, and I told my wife, just pay for the bill in full. It's just a checkup. It was like $75 or something. And she tried to do that, and the lady at the doctor's office looked at her like she was from another planet, and she said, I can't accept your payment. And of course, we had the money. It was so foreign to them. So maybe talk about that. Just the whole. What other industry exists, Chris, that you go to get a product or a service, you go to pay for it, what you owe, and then they say, I can't take that. I guess talk a little bit about that as well.
Yeah, for most people, their first experience with any type of medical professional, the first question they get asked before they even get to explain why they're calling is, what's your insurance? And based on that answer, if you ask what the price is, the follow-up is, well, it depends. And no other American consumer is going to go out and look at buying any other type of product with the answer being, well, it depends. Could you imagine walking into a department store and looking at a bunch of different types of detergent and not knowing what the price is until you get to the register?
Exactly.
And then it depends what credit card you're paying with.
Mm-hmm.
It's pure insanity, Todd. It really, really is. And I'm not faulting the offices and the physicians and the people who are really trying to care for us. We are big at Freedom HealthWorks on the patient-physician relationship and removing all those barriers to care. But the way that the third-party system is set up right now is there are about 4 or 5 people on the administrative side who sit in between that interaction between a patient and a physician. And they all view that as a transaction rather than a conversation that a patient should be having with their doctor. And until we understand that from a psychological standpoint, I don't know if it changes for the better anytime soon when we stop trying to bill for episodic care and realize that the human body, no two people are alike. They're not going to have the same issues, and that's where you need to have that more conversational relationship with your trusted physician.
So, and we'll get to what you do specifically, but I have one other question, and I feel like COVID, maybe what we've seen with COVID should highlight your point exactly, because you have some people that have contracted COVID and it's deadly, and, you know, it puts them in the emergency room and, you know, it's fatal. And the other folks walk around not even knowing that they have it. And so you're right. There's medical care is it really depends upon the patient and a bunch of other factors that it requires a professional and an understanding of the individual to get to the bottom of the issue and how to fix it. So what are some market-driven solutions that will either improve the quality of healthcare as we have it here in the U.S., drive down the cost, or possibly even both? What are some things that we can do to head in the right direction?
Yeah. And before I get to that, I will say that the COVID pandemic, a lot of physicians and experienced nurses lost their jobs because the hospitals weren't able to gain a profit off of their practice anymore because they couldn't see people in a face-to-face manner. So then we have the rise of telemedicine, which always shocks me why we call it telemedicine, because I don't think I've ever called an accountant to do my taxes or talk to an attorney over the phone and they call it teleaccounting or telelaw. Why in the world do we call it telehealth or telemedicine? It shows how far behind the eight ball the rest of the healthcare industry is. And that is because of anti-competitive practices. Mm-hmm. So what we can do, to directly answer your question, what we can do is really pressure a lot of these hospital systems to stop their anti-competitive behavior. We see abusive non-competes come down in physician contracts because physicians just don't have enough business education through school. And so they get out through residency, and a lot of these teaching hospitals just slot them directly into a position and lock them up with, potentially 2-year non-competes and 25-mile non-competes. And that means a lot of these people have to move almost to a different state or different area just to be a doctor still. And so that breaks down the continuity of care as well. If I'm a patient, all of a sudden my physician just vanishes, and the hospital that I used to go see just treats them like, a persona non grata. That's very confusing to me. So what we do in the direct primary care world is, again, break down all those barriers. The physicians that we work with are able to charge around an average of $80 a month, really for all you can access medical care at the primary care level. It kind of blows people's minds because they're, again, used to patting themselves on the back if they are able to tough things out. And I think that's what we saw a lot with COVID. If people weren't seeking treatment or they're seeking treatment too late, that happens quite often, unfortunately. And that builds costs downstream as people need to go, to hospitals and see different types of specialists. But we've really forgotten that the primary care physician is the key to being healthier and then driving costs down in the industry in general. So just kind of in summary, we have to emphasize primary care and a relationship with primary care physicians. Kind of having a primary care doctor on speed dial is going to do a lot for you and your family, and not using the ER urgent care as the first line of medical care. That means that a lot of these practices that we work with, they publish their prices on the website. And that's really unheard of in medicine at this point in time. And that's really a shame. What that also does is allow doctors to price locally. The problem with big insurance and big government healthcare is that no matter what the socioeconomic situation is in your town, whether it's rural America, suburban America, or a downtown kind of urban environment, those insurance and government programs price everything the exact same. And you price a lot of people out of accessing that care, kind of like we talked about before. So, again, to summarize it, it's all about transparency. It's all about letting doctors be doctors, and then letting patients and physicians form a relationship in order to achieve kind of this systemic, wholesome, whole body, whole person health. and achieve those goals in a very affordable, very achievable way.
Well, it makes sense. I mean, it definitely makes sense. And if someone is interested in looking into, working with you or finding out more information, how would they go about doing that, Chris?
As with anything these days, visit us at freedomhealthworks.com. We have a ton of resources out there to explain really what membership or subscription-based medicine and healthcare really is. And, we just shout it from the mountaintops that health insurance does not equal medical care. And the faster that we all realize that as a population, the better off we're going to be.
Well, I appreciate you sharing that and what you're doing. And this is, everybody, again, like you said, it's an individual. We need to look at these things as individuals and make decisions that are best for ourselves without a bureaucratic state, especially all the way in Washington, D.C., trying to make a one-size-fits-all solution for everyone. So I admire what you're doing. You're implementing principles that allow the market, the free market to work. And that's really at the core of what it means to be a conservative. So I'm glad that you've been able to come on and enlighten us a little bit about some of the problems with healthcare. It is an important issue here in the 2020 election, even though there's a lot of other issues that are maybe overshadowing it, but it's definitely something that affects every single American. And I appreciate, Chris, you taking the time to share with us.
I appreciate it, Todd. Keep up the good work. It's always a pleasure to chat.
All right. Thanks, Chris. Have a great day.
Like what you hear on Todd's show? Why not get more by signing up for Todd's free Semi-Sweet Morsels of Truth newsletter? To subscribe, visit toddhuffshow.com/subscribe or text HUFF to 31996.
The compassion of Christ. It's living life connecting to the broken and messy world. It's not simply walking down the street and dropping a quarter in someone's bucket. It's been perverted by Satan from biblical compassion to feeling sorry for, and sympathy isn't where God wants us to live. It's connecting to broken people in our daily life. Living the compassion of Christ.
There's a lot going on in the world today, and with so much going on, it's sometimes hard to maintain balance. Jesus said in John 16:33, "In this world you will have tribulation, but take heart, I have overcome the world." I'm Pastor Jeff Floyd of the Martinsville First Church of the Nazarene. To experience how life can be better with Jesus, come worship at M1 Church at 10 a.m. this Sunday, 1609 John R. Wooden Drive in Martinsville, or catch our live stream service on Facebook at M1 Church. For more information, visit m1nazarene.org. Have a great day today in Jesus.
Did you know that there are 21,000 chimney fires annually? It's one of the reasons why it's so important to have a CSIA certified chimney technician clean and inspect your chimney every year. Keep your family safe by joining our 3-year sweep and inspection plan. And mention Todd to be entered to win $1,000 in cash. Contact Smalling Masonry, a Christian-owned business, at 317-903-8121 to learn more today.
Welcome back, folks. Here we are in the election day. I mean, I've got folks texted me who have voted this morning. It's an exciting thing. Long lines all around. That does not, unfortunately for the left, and fortunately for us, that does not intimidate Republicans and conservatives who have not voted yet in 2020. Make your way to those polls. Cast your ballots for Donald J. Trump. Vote red down that ballot. Again, you can consider casting the ballot for, I hope you do, consider casting a vote for Donald Rainwater for governor here in the state of Indiana. But folks, we've got to win this election. This is critical. This is important. So many things hang in the balance here. Turnout looks as though it's going to be off the charts. And it's a beautiful thing to be a part of. And I'll tell you why it's beautiful, because most times Americans throughout history have come together to make the right decision, sometimes by razor-thin margins. You know, I look back at American history and I think back to the lessons of even the Revolutionary War. Folks, think about this, there were people lots of people who didn't want to fight this. Some were loyal to the king. Some just wanted nothing to do with any conflict. But folks, when the time came, the colonists did what was necessary to secure their freedom. And I think here, this time at the voting booth, I'm not calling for armed rebellion this time, folks. Don't take my words out of context, but Americans will do the same. But I've got to wrap up. Join us tonight, 9 p.m. SDGC. Then take care.
Hi, I'm Daniel Elliott, chairman of the Morgan County Republican Party. I'm excited that Hoosier Republicans and conservatives are eager to re-elect President Trump. But as you know, this ideological battle we're fighting runs all the way up and down the ballot. That's why I'm asking you to vote Republican from the very top of your ballot all the way down to the bottom of your ballot. Every election is important, and we must win as many of these elections as possible to ensure that we defend our liberties through constitutional limited government. We need your vote down the ballot for conservatives like Indiana Senator Rod Bray from District 37 and Morgan County Coroner Mike Ellis. If you love liberty and the Constitution, I'm asking you to join conservatives all across the Hoosier State and vote Republican all the way down the ballot. This ad is paid for by the Morgan County Republican Party.
You rely on your vehicle every day. It's not a member of the family, but you spend as much time with it as most family members. You wouldn't take your family to just any doctor, so don't trust your vehicle to just any repair service. At Raymond's Auto and Truck Repair in Plainfield, we have well-trained, caring technicians that have the expertise to get you back on the road. For 25 years, we've been servicing personal, commercial, and fleet vehicles. Give us a call at 317-838-7112 for the car service you deserve.
Wallace Construction is a family-owned business with 45